What happens if there's like racial epithets in these primary sources? Do you guys suggest leaving them in or taking them out?
If you're asking me, you leave them in. You leave them in, but with the understanding of we're not endorsing this. This is where the historical empathy part comes. Like in Huckleberry Finn, there are words used in that book that we wouldn't use now. And so you're not endorsing that language. What you're saying is, there's what went on. Let's pay attention to what are the issues here, what's taking place here, not whether certain words are used or what have you. There are words used in Shakespeare towards Jews in The Merchant of Venice, for example, that you wouldn't want to use now. But I don't like the idea of sort of excising these things from these original texts, because there's a dishonesty in doing that, and you don't have trust in the students. You're treating them with disrespect if you don't allow them. We're talking about use primary sources. Well, if you're going to use primary sources, then you use primary sources, but you prepare them to understand that these primary sources are operating from ways of discourse that we might not use now. That's how I would handle it.
Thank you. Dr. Jeffries?
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement with that. And I think the key is the preparation. You prepare the students, right? Yeah. You explain, in advance the language, the problematic terms, the context for it. And then also why we're not just going to be throwing it around willy-nilly, right? And there's a difference between sort of, Tom Sawyer, Huck Finn, and James Baldwin. And so that context needs to be explained. But then it also speaks, I think, a lot to, what you have done before you even get to that in the classroom. Like, you can't have serious conversations about issues of race and racism and all this other stuff, or not have them, and then say, all right, now we're going to read this, and you haven't prepared the kids. So the preparation isn't just for the lesson. The preparation is the whole semester, it's the whole school year, it's the process, so that they understand. But then we also, I think, have to be very serious about engaging in that material, right? To be clear. So you're like, look, this is the historical context, but we're also living in the present, and this is our class, this is our community. So we're not going to be using this language. We're not going to be sharing it. You can see it, you see what it is. We're not going to be repeating. I mean, so you can put these qualifiers out, but they have to be explained. They have to be explained. And I'm with you. We talking about primary sources, talking about this material, we're selective in it. It's age appropriate. We do it in all that, but it's about the context. It's about the preparation. It's about explaining what it is we're doing. The one thing that we don't want to do is we don't want to pretend. We don't want to pretend that it's not there. We don't want to pretend that it's not hurtful and harmful. We don't want to pretend that it hasn't been used. The kids are ready. They can get it if we take the time to explain it.
Exactly.